Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host Stan Rattan and this is the Blue Collar Wine Program where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Still in Washington Wine Month, August, July and August, two longest months of the year. No, back to back, 31 days. By the way, I just my heart goes out to those in Napa. Big earthquake down there, a lot of damage, a lot of things they have to clean up. It's terrible. California is, of course, dealing with the drought situation, and they have this earthquake down there. They'll recover. They will. And unfortunately, for the consumer, it may be an excuse for them to jack up the prices a little bit. Of course, they don't want to get too carried away. There's a lot of competition in the world and a lot of other places to buy wine besides California, Napa, especially, but it's still, I feel sorry for those guys down there that are just about getting to harvest. They got to deal with this mess. It's terrible. I hope everything goes along speedily as far as getting things cleaned up and moving on. Whew. This may be my last, I said maybe, you never know. Sometimes I go off the cuff. This may be my last Washington Wine Month program for this month. I got other wines I need to get into, try, and move on. I'm going to Portugal in about a week. I'm heading over there. I'm excited about that. I'm going to do some YouTube videos over there. I hope I'm able to accomplish that, and hopefully I can load them up. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Now, when I interviewed Bill Powers a few months ago, he mentioned to me, there may be 800 plus wineries in the state of Washington, but only like 10 of them produce, 7 to 10 produce most of the wines in Washington State. So you get all excited, wow, there's 800 wineries. Well, a lot of those are little boutique wineries that only sell out of their tasting room, but they're still registered as a winery. So there's this article from that my boss gave me from one of his Puget Sound Business Journal. There it is, right there. I just want to list like the top 5 gallons sold by wineries in the state of Washington, okay? By winery. Number 1 is St. Michel Wine Estates, which includes St. Michel Royca, Col Solar, partnership with Col Solar, North Star, and Domaine St. Michel. They sold in 2013 17.22 million gallons of wine. Isn't that crazy? Now, second place, Hogue Cellars. Look at this. Go from 17.2 to 1.28 million. That's second place gallons sold in the state of Washington. Then K. Vintners, Charles Smith, 16,454 gallons sold. Did you see that? It goes 17 million, 1.2, 516,000. Sorry, 516,454 for Charles Smith. Then you go to Hedges, 308,583. Then you go to Columbia, 275, 349. Pacific Rim, 241, 917. Barnard Griffin, 176, 215. Badger Mountain, 170,380, 170,380. Maryhill, 155,494. Canoe Ridge, 134, 363. And Goose Ridge Vineyards, 129, 398. And then you jump into the Lake Hole at 96,700. So really, you can see what Bill was talking about. He was right on. Only a few of the wineries in the state of Washington really produce and sell most of the wine. So today we are going to look at 4 Washington wines. And we're going to start right off with Snoqualmie Cellars. And they've been around a long, long time. And they call this naked Chardonnay. Now, in most cases, when you hear the term, it's had an interesting color to it, so I'm just curious. Really golden. Runs in at $12. This is the 2010. Wow, 2010. Snoqualmie Naked Chardonnay made from organically grown grapes, Columbia Valley. $12. There you go. And this is one of the top women winemakers in the state of Washington, and for some reason her name is eluding me, but she's highly respected. And they've been doing organically grown grapes for quite a while now. And, you know, $12, great price point. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get this really kind of almost like a spice and pear thing going on. A little bit of apple in the backdrop. But nice like a baking spice coming through on the nose. Excuse me. Let's see what we get on the palate. Excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. You know, nice Chardonnay, really good balance. The pears come through big time on the palate. Nice creaminess, a little bit of apples through on the finish. Get just a touch of lemon. Those baking spices come through. Almost gives it, not an entirely, but just a hint of applesauce on the back end with those nice pears. Nice and creamy. I mean, this is a good Chardonnay. There's not a lot, if there's any oak on it. Naked means organic in this place. A lot of wineries will say naked, they mean no oak. I think I already said that. But anyway, nice mouthfeel, good balance. You know, it's not a super powerful, it's very elegant Chardonnay. It's like very subtle, but at the same time, you can have this with shellfish because it doesn't have a big, powerful oakiness to it. You can drink it solo out on the deck on a warm summer day. It would be terrific. $12. It's a great value. I'm going to go B on this wine. I think it's a very well done wine. Let's move on to the next one. I have to pick it up just a little bit. I said too much at the beginning. Boy, the Seahawks took it to the Bears. I know it's preseason, but man, they just clocked them. Their defense is going to be awesome again this year. So this is Patterson Cellars, let's see, vintage 2012 Forbidden White, Columbia Valley. Have you look at the label here. So this is a white blend from Washington, very popular. And the blend is 53% Chardonnay, 20% Sauvignon Blanc, 13% Semillon, 7% Riesling, 5% Roussanne, 2% Zigareba. Zigareba. I love saying that. This rolls in at $14. And I was going to say on the Snoqualmie, it always is kind of interesting when you see a 2010. It means a couple of things. They either made a ton of it and they're selling it off, or they're having trouble selling it, which I don't understand. But you know, sometimes the way you package a wine, how you sell it, has a lot to do with it. Let's see what we get on the nose with the Forbidden White. So this has some oak on the nose for sure. I can smell it, a little kind of butterscotchy toastiness. I get pears, I get an underlying brightness coming through. A little bit of ginger coming through. But I really get a light, like those butterscotch discs. I used to love it. He said, my neighbor, I used to go out and hang out with him all the time. He's an older guy, I was a kid, but we loved to talk. He was a ham radio guy, but he always had the butterscotch discs. I loved them. And I'm getting just a hint of that on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. It's almost like sucking on a butterscotch disc with a little bit of pear juice thrown in there and some apples, and there's even a little good, bright acidity. There's a good edge of acidity that seems to be driving it. It's really like there's a beam of brightness on the back end. The finish is really, really, really lingering on it. Where'd that come from? It's got some fruit. Some people would, I wouldn't put this in the like dry category, but I wouldn't put it in the fruit forward. It kind of is right in the middle there. It has that nice fruit, that nice butterscotch disc thing going on. A little bit of lemon coming through in the back of the mid palate and into the finish. And man, I'm telling you, I mean, it is just hanging on. The flavors are just there. I'm even getting a touch, just a skosh of minerality on the back end. Wow. I'm going to go B+, A- on that wine. That's a nice job. Good wine. That toastiness is kind of hanging on there. $14, that's a good deal. For what you get, it's a very good deal. I'm going to look into the more Patterson Cellars wines. I've tried them in the past. I just need to really kind of focus on those. Now we're going on to Snoqualmy's 2011 Cabernet Sauvignon, Columbia Valley, $12, line price with the Chardonnay, excuse me. Brain cramp there for a minute. Okay, label. These are also organically grown grapes. So that's a big thing for Snoqualmie. They have a line of not organically grown and they have organically grown wines. So let's see what we get on the nose. $12 cab from Washington State. It has a little bit of greenness on it. I get a little bit of asparagus. A little bit of branchiness, a little bit of green tobacco. Definitely currants. I'm scared on this one. It almost smells a bit corked, but I'm not positive. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. But currants and cherries. You know, it's got a pretty serious aromas. I mean, this is it really fills up the nasal cavity. You really smell a lot of good things in this wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. Kind of spicy. I like that. A little bit of white pepper coming through big time. I thought it was a little thin right up front. It is a little thin right up in the front of the palate, but it seems to expand into the mid palate. I mean, you're only talking $12 here. Definitely expands into the mid palate. You get a lot of cherries and currants on the mid palate. That white pepper just kind of lingers on the back end. I like that. It's got a little bit of a leather kind of bark thing going on the finish, which is very intriguing. If you're really into cabs and you want something that shows a little bit of that kind of old world love, got some guns on the finish. This actually has it, which is surprising for $12. I'll tell you that right now. That is surprising for $12. Starts off a little thin. Would be the only flaw I'd see in this wine. Good balance. The cherries and I get a little cranberry on the back end. And just a skosh of green tobacco on the finish. Initially I thought, wow, this is going to be a disappointment. It came through. I think it's a very well made wine for $12. I'm going to go B on this wine, B+. It hedges towards B+. That finish really rocks it. Gives you a little bit of old world love. It's organically grown, so for those of you that are really conscientious about that sort of thing, this is a good value. $12, B+. Let's move on to the big boy. I thought we'd kind of mix it up on this one since it might be my last episode for this month dedicated to Washington wines. It's one of those wines where the sales rep gives it to you to use on the YouTube channel and for review, and you're like, do I really want to review this? Maybe I just want to tuck it away in my cellar. But I didn't. Matthew, I'm reviewing it. This is from Millbound Vineyards. It's called Sentinel. It's their red blend. North Ridge Vineyard. Now, North Ridge Vineyard is highly sought after fruit. When I went up there with Josh Maloney and we were looking through the vineyards, saw a lot of very prominent winery names that had lots inside that vineyard, you know, specific rows that they wanted. Well, Luke Slope, 2011. And the blend is not put on the back. Shame on you, Millbrands. You need to put the blend. Tidy. There we go. Okay. This rolls in at $45, so nothing to sneeze at. It's $45, getting close to 50. But this is there, and it's from a vintage 2011. I've said it many times. A little tougher vintage. Let's see what we get on the nose. Toasty, currants, blackberries. Get a lot of oak on the nose. It's prominent. A little black licorice, which I really like. Tobacco. We get a little bit of violet, like dried violets. Very heady on the nose, as I say. Very. This is deep. This is deep. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very polished right up front, but then you can start feeling the layers coming through. Spices, toast, currants, dark cherries, licorice, tobacco, earth. It has some earth notes right on the back of the finish, like a little bit of dirt action going on, which I like a lot. This baby is complex. And those dried violet petals are right in the mid palate. You can sense them in there. This is a youthful wine. I'll tell you that right now. This wine would benefit from another 5 to 10 years of aging. It has that complexity, that structure, good acidity, good fruit. A lot of layers in this wine. A little tar action going on. Bark, dirt, earth, tobacco, licorice, currants, cherries. I mean, it's all there, but it is definitely well integrated and structured with a little bit of spicy, like black and white pepper notes coming through. You get the oak. I mean, there's a toastiness. You sense the oak, but it's well built into the wine. Certainly is a prominent feature. $45. I'm gonna have to go away on this wine. Sorry, guys. It's a very good wine. If you want to buy a wine now, $45 by a lot of standards, especially if you go to Bordeaux. I'm sure this is a Bordeaux blend. Oh, actually, it's right there. I take that back. My apologies. My apologies to the Millbrands. It is 69% Cab, 23% Merlot, 6% Malbec, and 2% Petit Verdot. There you go. It's a Bordeaux blend all the way. A Bordeaux of this quality, you're looking at over $100, so or close to $100. So, you know, $45 is really a value play for what you're getting here. I'm giving this an A. I think it's well done. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed these episodes on Washington wines. I may do another one let's see how that goes. I don't think I'll do a couple of different episodes tomorrow, maybe on the last day of the month, the 31st. That's a Sunday. I usually don't do an episode on Sunday. We'll see how it turns out. But it'd be kind of cool to do one last Washing and Wine episode, last day of the month. But I hope you've really come to appreciate, or you do appreciate, maybe you already do, I'm sure a lot of you do, the value, the quality, the consistency of Washington wines. Cheers. Thanks for watching. And here's to keeping the snob out of wine.